Am I the asshole for canceling my brother's wedding venue reservation after he uninvited me? So, I, 37M, have a younger brother, Tom, 26M, who's getting married in 3 months. A year ago, when he and his fiancée were planning their wedding, they were struggling to find an affordable venue. I own a vacation property with a large yard that's been used for a couple of small weddings before, so I offered it to him as a wedding venue, rent-free. My only condition was that I wanted to be part of the wedding party, which he agreed to. Everything seemed fine. Last week, Tom and I got into a small argument. It really wasn't a big deal, but a couple of days later, he texted me and said he and his fiancée decided to downsize their wedding party, and I was no longer going to be a groomsman. I was shocked because I thought this was set in stone a year ago. I called him to ask what was going on, and he said it wasn't personal, just that they wanted to keep things small and intimate and didn't feel like they needed me in the wedding party. I was pretty hurt, but I didn't say anything at the time. Then it occurred to me, if I'm not important enough to be in his wedding party, why should I host the wedding at my place? So I called him again and told him that since I wasn't going to be part of the wedding, they'd need to find another venue. Now, Tom and his fiancée are furious. They say they can't afford another venue at this point and that I'm ruining their big day. My parents are also upset and say I should just let it go and still host the wedding. I feel like I was doing them a huge favor, and they essentially uninvited me from being part of the most important day of their lives. I don't think I'm wrong to retract my offer, but now everyone's making me feel guilty. So, AITA for canceling the venue? Eat it. This blew up way more than I thought it would. Checked my messages after work today and holy crap. To answer a few questions I'm seeing repeatedly. 1. Why did I need to offer to loan out my vacation house to be in the wedding? Repeating one of my comments. My brother and I have had a little bit of a rocky relationship most of his life. Our age difference has always been an awkward amount, and I think he's jealous of my success in life too. He's done okay, but I've climbed the corporate ladder pretty quickly in finance, and I think a lot of girls he's dated have had crushes on me, being his older brother and the more successful one, and that bothers him. He picks small things to get mad at me about because of his jealousy, and I felt like if I made it a condition of lending out my place, he would let me be in his wedding. 2. What did you get into an argument about? He got upset at me because he thinks I don't do enough with our parents, but I travel for my job, so it's harder for me to be there in person. I also help them out financially, which he never considers as helping out. They haven't saved as much as they probably should and are getting closer to retirement, so I help them out with some bills so they can put more in their 401k accounts instead, but I guess that isn't enough. He always finds something to say I'm doing wrong. 3. Are you still invited to the wedding? Technically, he only said I'm not in the wedding party, but it feels like such a slap in the face at this point, and it definitely feels like he doesn't want me there. I'll try to talk to him again to see what the real issue is because downsizing seems like update. I was having a hard time believing my brother when he told me they were downsizing the wedding party just to make it more intimate. But that's all he kept saying when I would ask for the real reason. In all honesty, my brother and I aren't that close, which I'm sure is obvious from my last post. After my emotions settled down a bit, I told my brother I wanted to talk to him. He wasn't responding to me, so I said I wanted to talk to him about potentially letting them still use my vacation house. Not totally the truth, but it seemed like a good way to get him to talk. He finally responded but said I couldn't come over. He would only meet me somewhere public, which seemed weird. We ended up meeting at a bar late last night that I like near my place, and I straight up just asked him why he was really kicking me out of his wedding, and I would only consider letting them use my vacation house if he told me the truth. He was getting pretty fidgety and looking away from me and finally told me the truth. Apparently his fiancée heard that I may do a bit of cocaine here and there for fun, and she told him that she didn't want a crackhead in her wedding. He said he actually kind of agreed with her and was disappointed in what I was doing. I told him if I'm too much of a crackhead to be there, then they really shouldn't want to use a crackhead's house for their wedding, and I left. I don't really see how it impacts them what I do in my free time, but I really don't care to be there now if that's what they think of me. I haven't said a word to him since then, but I'm guessing I won't be hearing from him again soon. Eat it. To answer some consistent questions, comments. 1. Oh, you must be a drug addict. I do coke maybe a handful of times a year recreationally with some people that I party with. Obviously, this gossip traveled through the grapevine where circles overlapped and got to them somehow. I wasn't discovered because I'm an addict. Like some have said, it's more common than you think. You'd be surprised who does it. 2. You must have a drug problem for them to react that way about it. My brother's fiancée comes from a very religious and conservative family. They think anyone that does a hard drug must be a degenerate and is going to hell. That's the funny part about her calling me a crackhead. Crack is whack. She clearly doesn't understand coke is different. But I'm not going to go on a mission to educate her. It would be wasted effort on my part. You can be successful in life and recreationally use drugs. The two aren't mutually exclusive. Honestly, pretty much anyone I know that does coke has plenty of money and a great job, or they married someone rich inherited money. Final comments. Well, after scrolling through a decent amount of comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'm obviously a terrible douchebag with an enormous drug problem that only thinks about myself and is extremely conceited. Perhaps some parts of that may be true, but I do care about my family and try to help my parents in the way that I know how. For those of you that are familiar with Fight Club, I am a single-serving friend kind of person. I don't really get close with many people, and I have a hard time staying in one place. That's why I have a job where I need to travel all the time. I like the variety and the challenge of it. Settling down, having kids, all that makes me super uncomfortable. Obviously, I'd be a terrible father, so there's no way I'll have kids. Snip, snip. My brother is a settle-down kind of guy, and thinking about it, that's probably why he doesn't like me. I wanted to be a groomsman for him because I wanted to be a part of something in his life, but in a capacity I can handle. One last note, I've got awesome parents that love me for who I am, and they know I love them even if I'm not around a ton. They worked super hard to raise us and give us everything we needed when they came from a poorer background. I help them how I know I can. Not everyone shows they care in the same way you do, so chill and don't think I'm an ass because my way of caring is mostly financial. Peace out, friends. Peace.